Now, I believe in chipping with 4 clubs. I use a sand wedge for a short distance like that, a pitching wedge, and that would be a sand wedge, pitching wedge more toward the middle of the green, 9-iron, 2/3 back, and a 7-iron all the way back to the green. So the very first thing I ask my student is show me your putting stance or your putting stroke. So if you ask me that question, if I brought a ball up here, the first thing I would do I would take my grip with my hands, bring my arms into my body, and bend from the hips to get to the ball. Okay. Then I would put the ball off my left heel, eyes over the ball, arms into the body, and from this point on, all I'm going to do is turn my shoulders back and through, keeping the head nice and steady. So the question is, what's the difference between a chip shot and a putt? Well, all I'm going to ask Brian to do is grab my 9-iron. Okay. I'm not going to change anything. Okay. Now, if you ask me to putt, there's my putting stance. The difference between chipping and putting is ball position. So I'll move my right heel here, my left foot forward, and push my hands forward. Weight on my left side, head's in front of the ball now instead of behind the ball, and now I'm into a situation where I'm going to use my putting stroke to chip with. The secret of the chip shot is keeping this right wrist bent through the ball. So again, the question would be why? Well, if I take my right wrist, and if I do this with the right wrist and flatten it out, what's my left hand do? It caved in. But if I can take that right wrist and set that right wrist bent, and just turn my shoulders and keep that wrist bent, it becomes a putting stroke. So if I'm going to aim to the different part of the green here, I will set my ankle here, my right wrist bent, take a couple practice strokes. Again, this is my putting stroke. I'm just going to hit down through the ball with it. And there's a shot. There's the shot. Now you would chip a lot of shots in because it becomes you're controlling your club face. The club face is also closed down quite a bit. So I look at this as a putter head, not my 9-iron. So off my right foot, arms into the body. I don't like to see arms long. I want to see the arms tight. All I do now is just turn the shoulders back and through. Pick out my spot on the green where I want the ball to land and just turn the shoulders. The ball is always going to run fast and true. What you don't want to do is create lag. You cannot hit a chip shot by having lag. Lag's you're going to scoop it, or you're going to hit a flyer. So if I have a short shot where the ball is up, tights up, the pin's up close, it's the same thing. Putting stroke, I just putt back and through with it. Look, see? And if I have a 7-iron to the back of the green, which is about 100 and some foot putt, it's the same stroke. I just take a longer stroke, back and through. See? Now watch where the ball goes, to the back of the green. See? And if I have a shot that's going to be more of a 25 to the middle of the green, it would be a pitching wedge. But nothing changes. The stroke is the same. So again, I'd walk into the ball, arms into the body, set my right heel here, club head behind the ball, lean left, and from here, just feel like I'm putting it. See? Watch that ball flight. Look at that. They always go where you're aiming. Once you get the speed of the golf swing, it becomes pretty easy.
You open your stance like you had it open?
You know, I don't care. I use a square stance, but when I chip, I use a little open stance. But my son Mark, who's one of the top players in the country in the club pro ranks, he uses a square stance. So it doesn't make a lot of difference. So I can actually do the same thing with a square stance. Just as long as I keep that right wrist bent like this here, I'm controlling my ball flight. What you don't want to do is feel like you're scooping it.